Sarel and Marty Olivier are trying to put an horrific ordeal behind them. Marty was brutally raped, abducted and assaulted about a month ago. Not by intruders or gangsters, but allegedly by an on-duty policeman. She's still so traumatized by the event that she has asked us not to show her face.
My lewe sal nooit weer dieselfde wees nie, al probeer ek hoe hard. Ek lewe nou meer in vrees, stres. Ek moet nou basies meer op pille lewe wat my kalmeer, wat my in stand hou.
Sarel blames himself for what happened.
I felt like a failure.
Why?
Because I'm there to protect her, basically. And I couldn't protect her.
The Olivier's nightmare began when they were traveling home through Kempton Park after a night out. Sarel mistakenly took the wrong route, and when he made a U-turn, he was pulled over by the police.
It happened so fast that I was taken from the car to the back of the van. There was no time for explanations, no time for nothing. The one guy was standing basically on the side of the police van next to me. He didn't speak to me, nothing, and the one guy was at the car busy speaking to Marty.
Hy was baie angstig om te weet wat was ek bereid om vir my man te gee of te doen. Ek het vir hom geld uit my beursie uitgehaal, R400 wat ek geoffer het, hy het dit gevat. Want toe raak hy meer angstig om te weet, is ek regtig lief vir my man? Is daar nie nog meer wat ek vir hom kan doen nie? En ek het geoffer, ek sal huis toe gaan, ek sal my bankkaart kry, ek sal vir meer geld gee, net sê hoeveel.
But it seemed that no amount of money would persuade the policeman to let them go. He simply got into the driver's seat next to Marty, and both vehicles made their way to the police station.
So what were you thinking at this time?
I don't think actually, because I take it it's police officers. You know, it's law enforcement.
But then, about 150 meters from the police station, the Olivier's car turned into a parking area.
Die polisieman het uit die kar uitgeklim, oor na my deur toe geloop, my seat agter toe geslaan, ingeklim, en van daar af het ek myself uitgesluit.
You can't remember anything else?
Die reuk, en dat hy my mond toe gedruk het. My tande was in my lippe in gewees. Hy het my even gebyt ook. Tussen my bene was ek stikkend gekrap. Hy het baie fors op my gebruik.
Sarel, in the meantime, was sitting in the back of the police van outside the station. 20 minutes later, he was allowed to go.
My man het terug kar toe gekom. Toe sê ek vir hom, die polisieman het my verkrag. Ek het vir hom gewys, die bloed tussen my bene, my onderklere was geskeur.
There were semen and blood coming out of her. And I froze immediately and I reversed back, got out, went back into the police station. And I asked them, I want those two guys that pulled us over. And the response came from their side, those guys knocked off at 1 o'clock, but they don't know who it exactly is because somebody else brought the keys back.
What the Oliviers didn't realize was that their ordeal was far from over.
Marty was sitting in the passenger seat, just like I am doing now, when she allegedly hurt somebody at the door. That person then opened the door and hit her hard on the head from behind. Marty then crashed into the dashboard and lost consciousness.
When Sarel returned to the car, there was no sign of Marty.
The car is there.
The car is there, but
she's gone.
Marty's gone, the handbag is gone, the keys of the car is gone. So I thought she ran away, or because she's frightened.
For Marty, the rest is a blur. But she does remember lying on a tile floor in a room with a black couch, a table and a chair. The next time she came to, she was in the parking lot of the Boston College in Kempton Park.
A security guard found Marty lying here in the early hours of the morning. He woke her up and his first words to her were, "Why did the police drop you here?"
The security guard gave Marty coffee and a jacket and stayed with her until first light. Sarel found them later walking near the local McDonald's.
She looked like a homeless person.
My lip was bietjie opgeswel en stikkend. Ek het 'n groot knop teen die kop gehad. My oë was blou. My knie het het 'n lelike besering opgedoen. My klere was vol semen. Ek het stukkende onderklere aan my lyf gehad. Ek was sonder skoene.
After Marty had made an affidavit to the police, she was rushed to a trauma center. Now, a month later, no one has been arrested or even suspended in this case. But ironically, Cyril was charged on Friday for damaging police property at the time of the alleged rape.
The police know exactly who was assigned to the vehicle, and the DNA was only taken on Monday, the 16th.
This lack of progress has been frustrating for the Olivier's lawyer, Delia de Vries.
There's nothing to speed up this process. A woman's life has been destroyed.
Also trying to pick up the pieces of her shattered life is this woman. To protect her identity, we'll call her Louise. She too has accused a policeman of violently raping her while in custody.
They're supposed to keep you safe and keep you from harm, but that's a lie.
About a month ago, Louise was arrested after a domestic dispute with her ex-fiancé and landed up in the Rustenburg police holding cells. After 12 hours behind bars, she asked one of the male officers on duty if she could use the bathroom.
So he said to me in Afrikaans, jy weet natuurlijk wat die nagevolge gaan wees. And then he took out a plastic pipe, it's about a meter long, so he took it out. So he locked up the gate and he walked with me to the bathroom. And then he said to me, I must face the wall and I must stand still. And he took the rubber pipe and he hit me on the back 3 times. And then he said to me, I must just stand like that and I must take off my pants and my panties. And then he took off his pants and then he raped me and he finished against the wall. And then he said to me, I must put back on my clothes and then I must clean myself up and he'll be waiting for me outside. And I washed my face and I got out and he was waiting outside, and then I went to the sun and you could see the 3 men just sitting there and just made as if nothing happened.
The 3 policemen?
Yes.
Louise was taken to the magistrate's court the next morning, where she was released without being charged.
And when I got outside, my mom was standing there waiting for me at the car, and I ran to her and I told her what has happened. And then that guy that came out with me, he said, the man inside said I must pay them 600 rand.
600 rand for what?
I don't know, and they gave me no slip, nothing.
She and her mother immediately drove to the neighboring Klabani police station to lay a charge of rape.
But when the policewoman realized that the suspect was a policeman, all of a sudden she said she couldn't help because their systems were down.
A docket has subsequently been opened, but both Louise and Marty's cases are now being investigated by the police watchdog, the Independent Complaints Directorate. ICD spokesperson Moses Dlamini says that there's been a lot of resistance, especially in Louise's case.
This was one case where we had to postpone the ID parade 3 or 4 times because of the obstruction, so it's a unique situation. We've never seen that.
The ICD even had 4 policemen arrested in an effort to compel them to take part. But the public prosecutor in Rustenburg has refused to put the case on the court roll. The ID parade eventually took place a week ago.
But not without a hiccup. They again insisted on having police uniforms on, complaining about the number of people in the line out. They wanted 36, then 32, eventually 20 people partook.
But even with a positive identification, they will have to wait for DNA test results.
It's months. It's months. It could be even up to a year or even more.
Police told us they couldn't comment because an investigation was underway. In the meantime, the Oliviers and Louise fear for their lives.
They're getting threatening telephone calls, cars parked outside their houses. We've asked the ICD for protection for them. We're told that only a court can give you protection. When we phone the police for protection for them, we're told that only the ICD can give them protection. You know, as a woman, you feel outraged. As a lawyer, you're just astonished that the law can fail them like this.
I'm very bitter.
I can't believe that this has happened to me.
As die reg wil geskied met die polisiemanne, dink ek sal ek een oggend kan opstaan en weer kan lag.